Okay, so I spent a significant amount of time going through my son's unit, um, over several days to do um, what has been neglected. So a lot of clearing, getting rid of shit, as y'all can see. So I'm just doing a little bit of mini scan. I'm not really focusing on a lot here, okay? But just got rid of a whole lot of shit, okay? Sometimes less is more. And been concentrating on that and concentrating on making plans and stuff like that for the next few months because, the year is coming to a close. Okay, I finally got in there because there was a hot mess in there too. We made some alterations. We got rid of a lot of stuff. I'm going somewhere with this video, believe it or not, okay? So had to get rid of some other stuff here. But back to the closet. Okay, so that's still there, but definitely did a lot of digging and getting rid of stuff that was in the closet. Okay, so here's where I'm going, okay? Even here, oh, you guys can't see. But, made some alterations, okay? That's for another day, okay? So anywho, understanding what I'm dealing with, okay? I said that I will continue to basically share what they do, okay? Because a lot of people aren't believing it, what they do daily, because these things are daily happening to folks like my son and myself, okay? His apartment, his location he is surrounded by cult members. Now, am I saying that every single resident? I can't say that every single resident, but I can certainly say that the ones that are most closest to him are. Okay? And I also just want to share that cult, if cult is a triggering word for some of y'all out there where you hear it and it's just associated to like movies and you're like, ain't nobody, okay, so think of it as this: a gang, a clique, a posse. Like sometimes those words help, but at the end of the day, if it's in a group setting, if it's a group of individuals, okay, that are toxic and they have a goal to basically come against a person, like Crips and Bloods, and y'all know what I'm trying to say. Not to say that we're gangs, but that is the definition of a cult, okay? Because those types of groups are built on, first and foremost, abuse. Okay, most of them are bullies, and it is built on fear, control, and it is transactional. There's no real love, honor, respect. The love and honor and respect that looks like love, honor, respect is just based on fear, necessity, control, conditioning, programming, and all those things, okay? So these people, now in our case, they're definitely doing rituals, okay? They're doing, say, some kind of weird old shit, okay? The official terms shouldn't really matter. It's about the energy, okay? What are they doing when they're making that disruptive noise? But more than that, what are they doing when they're quiet? Okay? So, it continues. I'm not paying it much attention. I'm moving on. I'm cleaning. I'm focused. All those things. I'm not going to give them a feed. And I believe that these parasitic energies are upset about that. I also am starting to believe that they want us to get into like this tussle with them. Like that's what makes them feel like maybe they're doing something. That's what makes them feel alive. That's what makes them feel like maybe they can sleep knowing that they have you up all night, going to bat because they're sending you a shit ton of shit and blase blase. Kind kind of pathetic, isn't it? So I do have my son's dryer going and his washer going, so you can't hear it. But the upstairs, whoever lives up there or whoever they allow to stay up there when they're not there, or if it's a group of them that's up there right now, it doesn't really matter. They're up there doing rituals on me and my son as we speak. I can sense it and feel it, and so can he. I can see the shift in energy. I can see it on him. I do what I need to do, and I clear it and move on. But the point I'm making is I'm going to share and continue to expose what these people do until I get the right or the correct folks to do what needs to be done in terms of on their end of it. I will continue to do what needs to be done on my end, but this is to let it be understood and known that this is not going to go away. Okay? I'm not going to be feeding them, but I'm also not going to cease exposing. Okay? It is October the 29th, I want to say. Is it the 29th? The 29th. And it's about 11:22 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we are already past the so-called quiet hours is supposed to be 10 p.m., okay? When I spoke with management several times, and I'm going to continue to say that. I have continued several months, between the management and Beaumont Police regarding all that. Once again, to no avail, okay? I know I said it before, but I'm going to keep saying it. Just in case there's anybody out there that is under the illusion of thinking that these people have stopped doing any of the shit that they're doing. Because they haven't. I simply am not going to feed any of these people who are collaborating, benefiting, and getting paid to see me and my son struggle and suffer and go through it, that's what I'm taking away. I'm not doing that. They're even doing stuff on, I'll give you guys another aspect, okay? So they do, their vengeance and their incessant attempts to continue this shit, even when they may be posing to some of you all out there that they're not any further. They are. Okay? They're still stalking, still following, and still watching my every move, as well as my son. And when they think I'm out of the unit, or I'm up front, or I'm doing something else, or whatever the case may be, they try to influence my son. We talked about this yesterday on the video that I did regarding how they target neurodivergent or autistics because of their vulnerability. Okay? So they do it to us as well, and what I welcome you all to kind of, should I say, in counsel that, invite you all to think about is, hell, some of us have fallen prey to this shit. So if we so-called normal, then how much more would be a child, a kid, an innocent, a vulnerable? Okay, now, so when they see that I stepped out, I went up front, because you can bet your bottom dollar, they're texting each other. She walked up to the mailbox. Yes, it's like that, okay? She walked to the mailbox. She's at the front office. The office people do it because they're all involved in this shit on some level. Because they all watch me on social media. Okay? Whether they are a part of the Fusion Center or not, but some of these people are dealing with the Fusion Center and the spiffs that come with working with these Fusion Centers. Okay? So they do, they're, blah, 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 blah. And then they'll try to influence my son in some way, or go outside. Because remember, they took down the patio curtains, right? The wind didn't do that. It was ripped off. I looked at the bottom of the thing when I went and cleaned up and stuff. I laughed at it. Okay. So, boom. Okay. They get to trying to influence his mind when they see that I'm not in the vicinity of him to do certain things. So they did rituals on him today to try to, because they do mind control and mental magic bullshit, okay? Whoever these motherfuckers, whatever, okay? So to have him to go stand outside on the patio, why would they want to do that? Well, his patio is facing, and that was all by design, is facing a major street, Northwest Parkway, where all of these cult members are constantly circling around. They constantly, daily, repeatedly circle around Northwest Parkway and Old Dowling Road, okay, so that they can see, look at, what's going on in his, apartment from that end, so that they can hurl whatever it is that they're hurling, okay? That's all a part of their little deal, okay? Also to see if they see me walking up Northwest Parkway, because again, that's a major street. It's leading to the mall and all of those various things, okay? So all of these cult members and stalkers are circling about that daily, okay? They look for signs of distress. They want to see, again, because this has all been paid to harass, hurt, frustrate, cause issues for my son and me, designed to make it seem like we are not capable or I'm not capable, all of that, okay? That's what this is. It's still connected to all of that, period, okay? And it's to see if they can gauge and see if any of the things are working. But in this case, what they did was influence him to go out. Now, mind you, we have had this cat since May, and we both have become very familiar with the fact that he was traumatized before, and then he got traumatized when he got away from us several months back. So we know, we've practiced making sure that we don't leave anything open. I mean, it's second nature for us at this point, okay? So I said that to say, because I monitor my son and myself, so we both have been successfully practicing that. It's become second nature, because we know, okay, any doors that's leading outside, especially, you can't. So they influenced him to go stand on the balcony, okay? Of course, they want to hurl their witchcraft, possibly sprinkle some shit from above, okay, from the unit upstairs, okay? But also in this case, they had him to do it, but kind of like affecting his mind to where they'll do spells to make you forget. This is something else that these people do, okay? My relatives do that. They were doing that when we were in Nevada, but that's another video, okay? To cause him to forget things, to cause me to forget things, blase, blase. Things that we wouldn't normally forget, okay? Now, in this case, Osiris, he didn't go out, luckily enough. He stayed, he was in the kitchen, and I came back relatively quickly. So who's to say, he may have, jetted out as my son was standing there, kind of like just facing the Northwest Parkway and possibly like talking to himself, right? So again, these people's attempt to exploit my son's condition is disgusting. I'm going to keep saying that till the correct higher-ups or people, pay attention, step in, and do their parts, okay? That's disgusting. I don't care for who and for what. That is disgusting. You're trying to exploit someone's condition to humiliate them or humiliate their parents or to see if you got the power or to whatever the fuck. Like, they're disgusting. These people are disgusting. They are. And again, to cause at the end of the day, in this case, it's not so much about trying to make us seem unfit. It's wanting to get at me. Because these people are losing money. A lot is happening. A lot of stuff is being dished out. There's a lot going on. Okay? And it's just yet another attempt, as we talked about on many videos, to frustrate. That's a part of the abuse. And what's sad is most of the collective humans, at least in certain demographics and dispensations, we're not taught that. But when you have something that is systematic and organized, and those are the intentions, that is abuse. That's the definition. Okay? So it's to cause me some kind of loss. They're still trying to create loss, pain. They know that I love Osiris the cat. They know that my son loves Osiris the cat. Okay? They actually did, when they did the rituals before, and I was trying to take him outside and he broke away and all that, and he was like missing for like a week or two or something like that. They did rituals on him. One or two of their weirdos grabbed him, did some shit to him. When he came back, his ears, like they did something to his ear hair, the back of his ear hair, and I think they did something to the left side of like his chest or something. They're weird. Okay? And beyond, not in the cool way weird, because these people are in plain sight and they're smiling at you and me. Like they're just as healthy can be. Okay, they're working jobs, they have nice vehicles and all sorts of things, but yet this is the stuff they participate in. And they're right here in this property. Okay? Whether they're the actual residents, the staff members, or close associations to these folks. Okay? And it's all to get to me. Because if they can get me to be in a negative space and they can get it displayed for whatever weirdo that they're trying to impress, then maybe they can get their kibbles and bits. Maybe they can be initiated into the sorority, the fraternity, maybe they'll get their vehicle. Maybe it'll be their turn to get a new vehicle. Maybe they can get their rent paid this time. Maybe, whatever. Maybe the man will finally marry them because they didn't prove that they were ride or die. The point that I'm making, all in an attempt to get some kind of a narcissistic supply, some kind of reaction to tick me off, to make me feel like I gotta go into overdrive, because essentially they're not happy and well inside. Nobody is doing spell work sun up, sundown, or whenever they're not at school, at work. No one, unless, with the exception, let me rephrase that. I know that there's people that have a lucrative business, and I like to believe, like, if they're grounded and sound and practical and all of that, but nobody typically is all consumed with somebody that they don't like. This is what I'm saying. Exploiting vulnerable populations like my son is disgusting, and trying to use that to make it appear as if they're caretakers are not apt is also equally disgusting. And all of these individuals are under judgment that are involved. Okay, now if they're not, they're not. You know what I'm saying? I say this all the time. If this don't apply to you, let it fly, boo. The issue is that most folks know they had a hand in something. That's the truth. That's where the irritation is coming from. That's why they're upset. That's why they're stalking and falling around, because there's elements of truth. You know what I say? Misery loves company. Because that's what they're doing right now. Funny thing is, sometimes when I'll come on, they'll stop as I come on, like as soon as I click on the button, which lets me know that there's possibly some kind of illegal surveillance systems up in my son's unit. It's either that, or they're tapped. I'm just saying, because there's only so many times that can happen where it's going to be called a coincidence. So either maintenance and management and whomever put some illegal surveillance literally in the apartment, which is a no bueno, not going to end well for them. Okay? That's a no bueno. Or, as I stated before, fusion centers or people hacking into devices and knowing folks and all of that types of stuff. So this is going to be my new approach to things. I'm going to clear our energy. We're going to have a good time, and we're going to go to bed. And I'm going to go do the things I have to do. That's my business to do. Whether I sleep here tonight or not, whether I go wherever I go or not, all of that is my business. All of it is. And my sons. I notice every obsession, or should I say emphasis, on questions pertaining to my residency. Nothing is passing over me. I'm sticking to the issues and the facts at hand as it pertains to what's been going on and what's relevant to that. When you are someone like my son and me and have been violated on every side, your priority becomes making sure you are safe. And when individuals and groups and businesses and governments and all these sorts of things haven't shown you, haven't given you any indication whatsoever that they are diligent about assisting you and that they're not possibly a part of it, when you have not been given that, your priority is continuing to ensure you and your children's safety and providing the relevant information. And that is what I'll continue to do. Like I said, we will have our fun. We will clear our energy. We will process. They're just not going to be able to get a front row seat. These people have been making money off of our pain and suffering, but they're going to work hard for it. I'm not going to make it easy. I'm not going to give them a front row seat. They can do acrobatics upstairs. And they can do their weirdo sacrificing chickens, tacos, bitch, whatever they want. This is what's destroying them. They don't have to know it, but that is the fact. They're all casting baneful work on one another, on themselves, as they're casting on me and my son. So the lesson of the hour, though, is for the rest of the world out there that likes to believe that these people can change just like that. That they live 10 years doing this kind of shit, and tomorrow they're just sweetie sugar pie, never want to do it again. Get out of your head out there in this world. Get your head out your ass. Better stay to get your head out theirs. These people ain't changing. They're shapeshifters. Okay? They'll be whatever they have to be for whoever they need to be it for, if there is some kind of payoff for them in that moment. And then they will shift gears just like that when they get around a different group. They're not changing. And I also want to say, there was this energy that came through my son. I think that was like a message that we shouldn't have come here. Like we shouldn't have come to Texas, or we shouldn't have come here or whatever. And I smiled, I said, touche. I actually agree with that. We should not have come to Texas. However, that was the only option presented at the time. So the feeling's mutual. Okay? But here is the part that I find to be most fascinating, though. None of this stuff would be happening, and I do mean that because this is the truth. All the stuff that's happening that everybody's in an uproar about, none of it would be happening if they would have left me the fuck alone. Ain't that funny? None of this stuff would be happening if all these people would have left me and my son the fuck alone. If they would have not tried to look at us as some kind of a come up. If they wouldn't have took the bait to do some shady dealings pertaining to us. And if they would have minded their damn business and left us alone, because guess what? That's what I've been doing the entire time. At least that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to mind my own business. The rest of the folks around me hadn't gotten that memo. I was trying. So if people would have left me alone, not worried about who I was and what I believe and what I do, and stop trying to single me out and scapegoat me for other reasons, because that's the truth, that's the bottom line. None of this would be happening. None of this would be happening. You wouldn't be hearing me on videos saying and doing the things I'm doing, because it wouldn't be relevant. It wouldn't be something that is happening to me. It wouldn't be a part of my experience. It wouldn't be a part of my healing process, because it wouldn't be something happening. They invaded my life. They took the bait. They allowed their own personal issues pertaining to me to get them to cross boundaries they had no business crossing. Playing with me and my son's life. If these people had not done that, this wouldn't be happening. And because it continues to happen, I will continue to expose them.